Do you have a favorite neighborhood or area in Scottsdale?
Yes. Yes, I am totally partial. It's actually my neighborhood. It's Central Scottsdale. It's like locked. It goes right up to the McDowell Mountains. You're just east of the 101. You're 10 minutes to Kierland. You're 15 minutes to Old Town, 20 to the airport, and it's the most convenient location. And you have a whole gamut of, single family homes to luxury to condos. It's just a quaint little pocket that hasn't been oversaturated with flippers yet. And I think as our valley begins to grow, things are going to, go north and out. And this location is always going to be good.
Because it's locked in.
It's locked in. It's mountains to the east, and it's freeway to the west, and Navajo Nation to the south. So it's a perfect little pocket of small and large homes.
How many remodels have you done? And what are some of the things that surprised you about some of the projects that you took on?
I mean, I've personally done at least, I would say 4, but helped a lot of clients outside of that. There's always something new to learn. You can only research enough. You just have to get into it to really, each house is going to have its own challenges. Termites here, the other one might have had water damage. Like, how do you address it? You don't know what you don't know until you start opening up walls and, just have a clear idea of what you want to do and a budget.
So you have an article that was written about you in the Arizona Foothills magazine. There's a link in the description below if you want to see that. My question is, what was it like is that the first time that's happened where you're like, hey, we're going to take a picture of you and then we're going to talk about all the stuff you want to talk about?
Yeah, that was so surreal. It was a pinch me moment. No idea how I was on anyone's radar at, Arizona Foothills, but it was a really cool opportunity. And I got to answer the questions. I got to have time to really think about them. And I think I'm a little funny in my responses. So
has anybody, I was in Oprah magazine in 2008 and my in-laws saw it and that was great. But then nobody else saw it. Everybody else that was in a magazine with me, they all were people were calling them, nobody recognized me. Nobody cared. Literally nobody said anything. My mom said something, and probably because my wife called her, but hey, you better say something because nobody's. So did anybody recognize you, or have they recognized you after you won your award and or after the interview?
Yes. More so just, it's incredibly helpful for search engine optimization. It's one of the top things that come up if you search my name, and that's helped me get out of state clients. Definitely. They saw the article, they saw, 40 under 40, and just kind of gave me clout and just something outside of just an online review. It gave, oh, she's a real deal. Here's a little bit of her personality. Would we be a good fit to work together, kind of a thing. And but yeah, nothing like, oh my gosh, it's Emily Wertz.
Well,
nothing.
A real estate agent, let's get her autograph. No, nothing like that. Nothing. She knows how to paint cabinets. Get them back away. Okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's the business we're in, right? We're never gonna have that probably, but
no. What
So,
up?
one of the things I'm curious about, oh, and this is going to be kind of a hard question because, um, it's going to be kind of a hard question, and I hope you're okay with that. When
Bring it
you
up.
look at all of your stuff, your website, super creative too. You have a website, just clickyourheels.com. It's so good
It's
because
that's one of my most proud things I've ever come up with
it's so good because the next phrase is,
because there's no place like home.
yeah, it's great. It's really great. I mean, I love I love the creative stuff. I know I'm whatever chatterbox here, but I really like it. It's really fun. And if you look at all of your stuff from your website to your Instagram to even the article, you have there's a continuity there that even your house, looking at your house, like there's a continuity of you there. And I think sometimes people try to create or manufacture something.
Mhm.
And I guess my question is, and this is the hard part, is that by choice, or is that something that just comes out natural, or maybe a combination of both?
Combination of both. I mean,
Okay.
I choose a restaurant because of aesthetics. What is the atmosphere like? I am just a very visual person. So, I like things to look just so. I like things to be, as close to perfectly curated as possible. Everything down to, I love just wearing white and light neutral colors. Like, I'm just, pretty basic when it comes to that, but it's definitely not without a lot of thought and effort behind it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm as consistently me as I can be. And I think with the website and my Instagram and everything, at the end of the day, I just want to represent myself in the truest form
Mhm.
so that when someone meets me, I'm the same person as I was online. I'm casual, I'm low pressure.
Classy.
Try.
There's an elegance there.
I,
There's an elegance and a richness there. Let's be real
there's,
about it.
there's maybe not so
It's
much.
cool. You have a big cool factor. Come on.
I'll take cool factor, but
Go.
my friends would say I'm clumsy. I embarrass myself. And maybe that's the charm of me is I get people's guard down and I just,
It's
interact
relaxing,
at a
right?
very real level. And I just try to bring the fun. So, yeah.
So, speaking of cool, one of the things that I saw that I think is hilarious is the way that you had met your husband, who's pretty much uh, he's unfairly good looking. I'm just gonna be open about it. Like,
I know.
he's unreasonably. There's people that are good looking, and there's people that are like, come on, like,
I know.
is that fair? That's not even fair. Like, he's that level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he has this line, which I think if you take nothing from this real estate podcast show, it should be that you take this greatest pickup line in the world, which
Ever.
is,
Best ever.
I dare you to be my girlfriend for 24 hours.
Yeah. It worked. He's like, I wasted the best pickup line on my wife.
No,
So
you didn't. You had a home run.
yeah. So yeah, that
It's
was
so good. It's so good. So obviously you come to a real estate podcast show to learn pickup lines, but if you're
Sure.
so inclined, if it brings people together,
Yeah.
that seems like that's really good. That's really, really good.
He did a good job with that, and he threw it out at me. I tossed it right back, and he's like,
You hit him with the I double dare you?
well, I was like, okay, do you want to make it Facebook official? Because that was the thing that.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
You did. You kind of like.
I was like, sure, yeah, let's really really make it weird. Let's make it Facebook official. And so we did, and his phone blew up his sisters and mom and
Wow.
girlfriends that, who is this chick? We got to vet her. How did, yeah. So
That's a phenomenal story. It's a great story. And when you look at you guys, you're like a power couple. Like you look like you fit, like you make a good team.
Yeah, we do. And in the very beginning, people always asked if we were brother and sister, and we have very similar humors, and yeah, I'm very lucky to have found my other half. So
I know family's very important, and you actually you have an advantage that some people don't have, which is that your dad was self-employed for 40 years, and he was able to sort of show you the ropes, the ups and downs. What did you learn from your dad, and what do you continue to learn from your dad in his time of owning a business and being an entrepreneur?
just always doing the right thing. And it's not about, making money. It's about creating a relationship that can be lifelong. There'd be numerous nights where he'd stay late to finish up work on a vehicle out of unpaid time. And the customers appreciated that so much. And, he sacrificed so that they could have, their vehicle sooner, or, just a good experience. And that's what I've taken into real estate. It's not about me. It's not my money. It's about, the buyer, the seller, buyer getting their dream home. It's putting the customer first. And I know that that's pretty cliche, but my dad has really stamped that in my brain that, you become better when you do better by others. So.
Well, I just thought it's kind of like a secret non-secret, which is, like when you're nice to somebody and you give them like a surprise gift, don't you feel great? Like I feel great. I feel better than if I got the gift, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I think that that's the same thing with business. Like if you just focus in on helping other people, the rest of it will more than work itself out.
Absolutely. And that's how the referral business in real estate works. Like, do good and you'll get good back. It's that whole, karmic retribution. I've had my, fair share of horrible instances, people absolutely wasting my time. And it's like, for what? And it's like, well, it's a lesson to learn. Don't make these same mistakes the next time, and, do better. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have an Airbnb that you did, and the Airbnb is called Happy Hour Rental. So talking about service, talk about, if you can, what it's like to own an Airbnb and what you need to know to be successful if you're thinking about doing something like that.
Oh, it is, a lot goes into it. Back end, paperwork, lawyers involved, LLCs, all of that, but it's not as glamorous as you think. And, really what goes into it, if you're going to take it on, you have to have a clear vision of something special. Why would people want a vacation in your house over, the thousands that are in the neighborhood? So you really need to create a theme, stick with it, and just assume you're not going to make any money in the first year. And that's not what people want to hear. But when you're furnishing a whole house, that's, 30, 40, 50 grand to get it looking how it should for everyone's day. It's, have a business plan. It really is something that, you need to have a list of trades that you can call if late night the AC goes out or the pool heater isn't working. Are you going to do that? Or are you having a property manager and really just, put together a budget and a P&L? What are the utilities going to be if it's July and the people want the pool cooled, the house cooled, like it's 60 degrees when it's 120 outside. So there's a lot of variables, and I would say unless you have a lot of money or unless you have done it before, don't take something on without advice or help from someone who's done it. Because it's not as easy as it looks. I'll say that.
It's like a flip, right? Where everyone's like, oh, I'll just buy it at this thing. I'll put some paint and on the walls, and then I'll just sell it for way more. It's not in the stuff that you don't know. It's in the stuff that you don't know that you don't know. Exactly.
Yeah, it's everything down to, okay, do you have extra sets of sheets? Did the comforters that you bought, do they dry really quickly? Did you get the quick dry towels? How quickly can you turn over the property with a cleaning crew to accommodate your next booking? It's, what amenities are you going to offer, and are you going to cap electricity if someone's going to stay for a month at a certain rate, and how are you going to track how much electricity they use? I mean, there's so many ins and outs, and then it's just making sure you have good photos, push it out on Airbnb and VRBO among other sites, and the first few stays better have 5-star reviews, and give them a free night if that's what it takes, or leave the fridge stocked for them, or offer some concierge services that maybe someone else doesn't, to really make your place stand out, because it's clicks and reviews just like anything else. There's algorithms with vacation rentals, and you gotta do everything to stay ahead of the game.
That's really, really, really smart advice, particularly about when you're first starting, right? You're saying stock the fridge up, include some extra stuff. What you want is you want the revenue for that. But what you're saying is more important than the revenue, at least for your first grouping, is to get that 5-star review action.
Yeah, and something that because when I launched the happy hour rental, a ton of people were like, I need to know that this isn't fake. You don't have any reviews. I've been burned in the past. How can you, prove to me that this house exists? Things like that. And you're like, wow, I didn't even, I have no ill intention bone in my body. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't believe me? I'm like, I'll FaceTime you. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, and just get good guidance. Hit me up, call me, email me, text me. I'm happy to give all the advice. I just want people to be successful, but I also want quality rentals out there, and there's not a lot. A lot of corners get cut, things like that. It's Scottsdale. We want everyone to have a good experience in Scottsdale, to want to come back.
Yeah.
And maybe buy a house someday.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is if somebody is looking to move into the Scottsdale area, or, the thing I see is, I feel like it's harder and harder to obtain a house. It's getting harder. There's fewer of them. And the people like yourself and lots of other people that own a house, you're going to buy another house. You're like, no, I'm not getting rid of the other house. I'm going to long-term rent that other house. So it's not like there's an abundance coming on the market. If you're going to invest in real estate, you should call Emily
Yep.
And you would be able to recognize like, hey, this might be a good Airbnb. This might be a good long-term rental. This is a house that you marry. You're going to be able to see all those differentiates because you've literally done that.
Yeah. And I've helped quite a few clients purchase long-term and short-term rentals as well. And it's not that easy either, because does the HOA allow for it? Are there restrictions? Even if there's no HOA, does the neighborhood do everything to keep a short-term rental out of there? You know, there are a lot of different things that go into it. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's how much can you make? How much do you have to spend? Is it a long-term good investment, or are you just, you want to buy experience and location first and foremost, as with any real estate purchase. But then there's, you know, all the other fun details.
How many reviews do you think you need in order for it to tip, like where it starts to kind of have its own advancements?
I mean, I would guess maybe 5. I really don't know. I'm sure somebody's done the research on, you know, best ways to trick the algorithm, but you also have to have stayed in order to leave a review. So it's not like Yelp where you're like, hey, I'll give you a $5 gift card or something and just go to my page and review it. They've really cracked down on that, where you as the host have to review the guests, and the guests review you, and you don't see each other's review until both are submitted. So you can't be retaliatory or anything like that. It's impressive to see how different short-term rentals are on the back end. You know, how much they've changed in the past at least 6 years, because they've learned, we've given feedback and that kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. And your other amazing advice with that, of course, is that you've got to run it like a business. You can't think of it like a house. You have to think of it like a business. When you're working yours, what's the, if you could share it, what's the worst thing that, like, cause I worry, like, I worry about putting stranger in the house and then like, all the stuff's gone, like Risky Business. Nobody knows what that is, but it's a great reference if you've ever seen the movie that's 100 years old.
You know, honestly, I feel like I've been very lucky. The worst of it is just lack of respect, and people, you know, throw a big party, don't clean up after themselves, and, you know, are just generally disrespectful of the property. But it is entertaining, to say the least, the experiences I've had. Top of mind, so Happy Hour Rental, we added a pool heater, which is a must. If you have a pool, it has to be heated.
Okay.
And
that's pricey.
That's pricey, but it's worth it. So I had these guests, and they wanted the pool heated, had it all ready for them. And like the next day or 2 days in, they're like, hey, you know, the pool heater's not working. The pool's cold. And I was like, they're like, we've pushed a bunch of buttons, but, you know, last night we turned it off because it was loud and we wanted to sleep with the door open. And I was like, wait, you turned off the pool heater and now the pool is cold. And they're like, well, yeah, but we want it heated. I go, you have to keep it on.
Yeah,
the logic.
That's how heater works.
That's how it works. And, well, you know, yeah, we want it heated, but it's just, we want it less loud. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You know, and they pushed a million buttons and screwed it all up and tried to get, anyways.
What do you do? What do you do when you run into a thing like that? Do you just acquiesce and go, or I'm not trying to get people to complain to get discounts here. I'm just saying, like, in general, how do you handle a sticky situation like that? What's the best way to do it?
Pause before you respond. because immediate reaction, you're like, how is this logical in someone's brain? You know, I mean, people will nitpick to get a free night every chance they can get, and just know that like it's okay to say no. It's okay to not offer a discount just because someone wants something. You just, at the end of the day, you want the good review. You want them to take care of the property, and you just have to bite your tongue and make sure that they're still having the best experience, even if it, you know, costs you $100 trip charge from a pool guide to come fix what they broke. Customer experience is always number one.
Drop it the comment, like it, and subscribe. Blah, blah, blah. Thee knowest thy drilleth. Whoa.